Hey Kristen, so I saw that you had a question about if someone could explain the importance of partial pressures of oxygen in the environment and in the blood and its importance. So basically, there's two types of partial pressures you need to be aware of. The partial pressure in the environment, which is basically the amount of oxygen that's in the air that we breathe in, and then the partial pressures of oxygen in the blood or the arteries, which is basically how much oxygen is in the blood. And so, why this is important is so when you are breathing in, the partial pressure of oxygen in the environment or the air that you're breathing in is going to be higher than the partial pressure of oxygen in your lungs. And so, that way, since gases diffuse from a higher concentration to a lower concentration, they're going to easily move into your lungs. And then the next step below that is the partial pressure of oxygen in your alveoli is going to be higher than the partial pressure of oxygen in your blood, and so that is why the oxygen will diffuse into the blood um, through the process of diffusion. And this is how gases are exchanged and how oxygen gets into the blood. And then that partial pressure of oxygen in the blood is the PaO2, and that's going to travel all the way down to the cells. And at that point, again, the oxygen in the blood is going to be higher than what's in the cells, so the oxygen will diffuse into the cells, and that is through the process of diffusion and by way of perfusion, which is the body's ability to transport oxygenated blood throughout the body into the cells. And so that's how your cells get oxygen, and how oxygen gets throughout your body. And that's also the same thing for CO2, which is kind of in the reverse process, from cells to blood, blood to lungs, and back out. But basically, the two most important things is that you're aware of is the partial pressure of the environment, is how much oxygen is in the air that you breathe in, and then the partial pressure of oxygen in your blood is how much your blood is saturated with oxygen. And just know that it always goes from a higher to a lower concentration.